Now is everything. Now is all. Now I see. Now I feel. Now I am. The key is to give a running commentary on what your eyes, your ears, your voice, your body posture, your body language in the now. This is my reading. This is my analysis. This is my understanding of what Dr. Fritz Perls, the great clinician, hardcore Gestalt, begins with the premise: I cannot work with you if you cannot make the distinction between what's inside and what's out there. What do my eyes become? Your eyes become your ears, become your body language as you give your running commentary on what you're experiencing, what your senses are taking in, and how the brain is interpreting the information and processing it through your resistances, the resistances being your inferiority feelings, your phenotype. That is the image, the behavior, the words that come out of your mouth, how you use the critical space between yourself and your environment, your opponent out there in the environment. I say opponent because he should be considered an opponent predicated on what kind of dance he wants to do, and what kind of dance you and I are capable of doing in response to his dance. Each has their own. None has the time. Everything, and I mean everything, is predicated on the greed principle. Everything comes off that. What's in it for me right here, right now? What do I have to gain? Why should I waste my time? And they're right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly right. If I told you anything else, I will be lying. I will be lying. I will be talking about a fantasy, a utopia that does not, cannot, will never exist. Human nature is neither good, as the Marxists theoretically conclude, predicated on good scientific investigation, good Marxist analysis, scientific socialism. However, it misses what Dr. Freud saw. Man is neither good, he's neither bad. Bad is not better, is not worse than good. Good's not better than bad. It's on a continuum. That's where Trump got it right. Trump would send for negotiation bad guys, morally bad, morally corrupt, because they're tough negotiators. Because they will not and do not let sentiment and human values and emotions, so-called, it's just all made up. Because unless you can foot the bill to pay for the human emotions and sentiments that you say you have, they're worthless. Unless they're part of a masturbation fantasy in an ivory tower in Alice in Wonderland. But I'm not talking Alice in Wonderland today. I'm talking about cold, hard fingers, the death, D-A-T-H fingers, the icy cold fingers of the winter blast, the hawk, if you will, climbing, crawling up the back. And when the hawk bites, I don't care how much material you put between yourself and the hawk, he bites hard and cuts through all that material. The cold gets right down to the bone and freezes the bone, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a reality that chills to the bone, that takes it right to the bone. Gives no corners, no quarter, and accepts none. I'm talking about rational cynicism. I'm talking about a way of life, a way of being, a philosophy to brace yourself on. That's hard and tough and realistic. as the reality faced each and every day when stripped naked, when all the defenses are stripped off, and we get down to the bone, and you find out what you got, what you're made of. That's what I'm talking about. What your eye sees in the now, what your ear hears in the now, and a running commentary of what you're observing. That is and the associations. Right now I see so and so. Let's use an example. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, 5'7", very well, and she's earned every bit of it. We're very well conditioned, and she's built herself a very respectable physique. But in the presentation of a Ronda Rousey or any celebrity, doesn't have to be any celebrity, I'm using her as an example, you see an image. You see a carefully marketed image, a saleable image. It has to be. We're talking multi-millions. We're talking endorsements. We're talking about movies. We're talking about a lot of money. You can't take a chance on something like that. So your eye sees a facade and you don't even realize that. You're reporting to me on a facade. And it's the same thing out there in the real world. Not the world of images, the world of pretense, the world of marketing. I'm talking now about the real world. Now what does your eye see when you see that woman or that dude entering, say, a Mickey D's or a Starbucks, any of these places? I don't give a damn what you choose. Your eye does not and cannot see the reality. It sees a surface. It pays selective attention. It reports on, tells me everything about you, the one who sees, the one who hears, the one who's reporting on it, than it does about the social performer, your imaging. It tells me about your fantasies. It tells me about your desires because you pay selective attention. And that selective attention is going to be predicated on your phenotype, your temperament, your past patterns, your engrams. That is the conditioned restimulators. That the image you're reporting on that the image restimulates. Now we have a complete divorce from the objectivity. We have to fight our way back to the reality of what we're seeing right before our eyes. That particular woman or that particular dude. The dude. We're making judgments all throughout that are irrelevant, that are patently wrong. But we have to take the responsibility. That's why I like hardcore Gestalt. We have to take the responsibility for ourselves in the now. Now is real. Now is power. Now is all. Now is existence. Now is choice. Now is survival. Now is where the hardcore facts are mined. Those of which you use to make your important decisions. And those things that masquerade as facts are not really facts at all. They're sentiments. They're fears, they're anxieties, they're projections. So now become your eyes, become your ears, and tell me what's going on right here and right now. Give me a running commentary. What do you see? What do you hear? Why do you see it? Why do you hear it? Give me an interpretation. And give me the potential to interrogate hard and tough. That's the alter ego. When I see something, I steps back and I judges my judgment. I interrogate myself. I ask myself tough, hard questions. Why have I paid selective attention? What is my unfinished business here? What is my existing, my being, my existence reporting to me in a running commentary? And I listens, I pays attention to my body posture, my body language. What am I thinking? Why am I thinking it? Why am I drawing these conclusions? Then I take these facts. Once I own the facts and can say, these are my facts. This is my story about the reality I'm involved in right here and right now. This is my selective attention.
Yeah, so it's kind of annoying since...
Now let's do a Sherlock Holmes deductive analysis. Find out who you are, who I am, what I am, how I am, my who. My who is my interaction, my confrontation in the encounter, right here and right now. That's my who. I take nothing for granted. I expect nothing. That's why I'm a rational, cynical rationalist. That means everything, and I said everything, has to be put to the test. And you can only go so far with the test as you have access. This means you have to glean, or you have to stand on other social performance shoulders. That means you have to listen actively, alertly, participatively to the other's criticisms and evaluations of you. And take it very seriously, even if it's stereotype, caricature, mock, I don't care what it is. You're going to take it serious. You're going to critically think and evaluate before you move. Don't move just to be moving, just out of comparison to somebody else who is successful. You don't know the backstory. You're imitating him, and all you're coming up with a bunch of disjointed, phony quirks that make you look even worse and diminish your chances even more. You're only as effective and as powerful in the situation as you are integrated, as it's you that's doing the acting. The more of you in the now that's doing the acting, the more effective and safer you're going to be. And when you project away your power, when you fantasize into that reality and not aware, now we all fantasize because we have resistances, weaknesses, wishful thinking, and so on and so forth. But it's the job to become aware of that fantasizing process and take back the power. That's why I like Fritz Perls and I like hardcore Gestalt. Take back the projections. If you have a hero figure, maybe it's the image of the phony images of a Sinatra or an Elvis Presley, the bullshit phony images, the well-marketed, carefully crafted images that you projected away all your power. Oh, if I could only be that celebrity. Ooh, if I had $1 million. The Elliot Rodgers syndrome. If I won the lotto, I'll buy my way out of all of this hell. Instead of having to crawl through 500 yards of pure putrefying shit and get blooded and beaten along the way, I'll cut the corners. I'll jump over things and buy my way out of it. The only problem is, when you've bought your way out of it, all you've bought is an ivory tower, an illusion, because you're not tough. You're not blooded. You haven't experienced yourself. You haven't seen yourself in the naked light of day. Well, you are entrenched, embedded, embattled on that battlefield. That's why I like Richard Nixon. Shut your mouth until you've been in the arena, until you know what it is by your own experience, until you've been blooded. Shut your mouth. That's why I'm a humble man. I raise the tolerance bar. The more I raise the tolerance bar, the more my critical, practical, street smart intelligence grows and my safety and effectiveness. The more intolerant I become, the more stupid I become. It's a given. That's a given. There's no such thing as failure. You can't fail. It's a learning. It was a lesson learned. The victories come out of the failures. This is how we make the corrections that are necessary, the adaptations. And the changes within ourselves. We keep stepping back and reassessing our approach, our being in the now, our tools, our mastery over those tools, and our mastery over ourselves, and our understanding, most importantly, our practical but fair understanding of our surroundings and our fellow performers in the contest. Right here, right now. And we take it from there.
Everywhere they go,
realizing full well we're suffering from a dearth of information. Ooh, if I could only be a fly. Ooh, if I could only be a fly and observe and hear the performers in their reality, behind the scenes, and get some backstory here. Ooh, if I could only do that. What I wouldn't give. It's a tough, hard, cold world out there. Lupus hominis lupus. Man the wolf to man. That's the first premise. I believe it, I understand it, and that's where I'm coming from. And that's why I'm a rational cynic. Never believe what anybody tells you. Specific time, specific place, specific promise, specific performance, delivered, deadline, specific price, and all the hidden premises behind the price and behind the service. Buyer beware. Buyer beware. We have to see behind the chicanery, the double talk, the phony imaging, the marketing, and ask ourselves first. Preparation is everything. When we come out in that environment, we better be ready. We better be set. Do it to him before he does it to you. And I like what Dr. Thompson says in Verbal Judo. As soon as you wake up, as soon as you step out in that environment, whatever it is, you should see a neon lights in front of you, in front of your eyes, inside your mind. Showtime, performance. And I like the Beatles. I like that John Lennon. Strawberry Fields Forever. Nothing's real. And nothing to get hung about, baby. Nothing to get hung about. Nothing's real. There's nothing to get hung about. Of course, John Lennon was all bullshit. But he said the right words, probably stoned out of his fucking mind. But he said the right words. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. But he said the right words. Strawberry fields forever, baby. Ain't nothing to get hung about, because ain't nothing real. That's the way I see it. And I'm reporting on it.